Kickstarter have actually changed their logo design. You may have seen this a couple weeks ago, but I'm reviewing it just now. This video is brought to you by FreshBooks. So if you didn't know, a couple weeks ago, Kickstarter revealed their new logo design, or the most updated logo design. They revealed 2 new fonts, and they've also got a new UI on the actual platform too. This was met with a lot of hate online, which was kind of funny at first, but it's also kind of cringy when I look at it. Looking at some tweets on the Creative Block website, you can see that people are saying, I hope the new chunky Kickstarter logo will become better, basically. People say it's a downgrade, some people say it's interesting, but a lot of people think it's like a complete disaster, or that it just doesn't look great. And I've been seeing this kind of comment or phrase or wording said a lot over the past couple months, which is, please do not fix what ain't broken. I don't necessarily agree with that statement, don't fix what's not broken, because that kind of statement makes it like, you can't make anything better. If it works, it's great. Now, to some extent, logo design and brand identity needs to stay the same, but there are times in the company's life, and it is a life because one day it will have an end, that it needs to change its visuals. Now, I've read over the Creative Block article, which I'll link down below for you just to go and check out. But I've got some of the things that I want to say about this and the whole process of the logo design change. So here's the first logo at the top here. Well, one of the first logos, and this is one that we're all pretty used to. It's very nice green. It's very electric green. And it's also got this kind of black. I'm not too sure what color that is actually, so I'll just have a look. It's kind of like a dark green. It is literally a dark green. The cool thing about this logo is that it stuck out. You could see what it was, and it was also easy to see from far away. Now that's because of the color, not because of the sort of the kerning and the negative space. Although a lot of people did like this logo, I never really rated it that much. I think it was okay for the time, but I didn't really rate it. So why did they go ahead and change that logo, the most beloved logo that they had, to this one down here? Now, I got the actual logo from the website. There's like this website you can go to get the logo in its vector format, and you can see here it's all vectored properly, and it looks pretty cool when you zoom in. Now, I'm not too sure on the project or the process of actually creating this new logo. I know that from the Creative Block website that the actual merging of these 2 colors probably took place to create this nice little blue. Let's have a look what kind of blue it is. Yeah, it's like a really dark blue. That's something that I've seen as a trend in logo design, and it's not really a trend, it's just the natural recurrence of logo design, is that people try and make it consistent. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a whim by saying that I prefer the new one. I am someone who isn't like intimidated by change, and I'm not saying that everyone else who doesn't like it is intimidated by change. I think there's just a lack of understanding as to why they might have changed it. So let's go and test this logo design, and I'll show you why they changed it in some areas. I'm going to take this logo right here, and I'm going to bring it over here and make it small. Now that is not readable at all. And there's a reason behind that. The reason why it can't be read there is because most of the time Kickstarter logos are going to be about this size at the top of the website, like so. If you go to the brand assets page on the website, you can see that they've got 2 here. They've got like the actual positive space one and the negative space one. They've got the little colors here, the white and everything. And they've also got these little badges or the icons for them, and they're calling them badges. You can download these and test them out for yourself. Now I'm going to take this little icon by just ungrouping this, and I'm going to copy the K down here. So in an app, if we're going to create an app, and it wanted to be a Kickstarter app per se, if we're going to make it, it will probably look something like this, the app icon. Let me see if we can get it to look correct. I'm not going proportionally correct here, but I want to get it to a place of where it could look kind of correct. The Kickstarter logo will probably look something like that in an app icon. I'm not too sure. I should check this. But the reason behind the new logo change is that it makes everything super consistent. All the type super consistent. You can see over here that the typography has got some negative space there. You can see the little negative space parts here. The A has not, and everything in the lime green does not have it. But it's a very strange sort of combination. So what they did is they basically brought it all together, and they changed it to be more bubbly, because that's what they've already had before and that's what it's known for, but to also have this nice teal color, so it's nice and blue, and it looks genuinely more consistent. Now, I think Kickstarter is such a huge name that it works like this. Everyone's going to read this and know it's Kickstarter because it's not completely alien to this one. It's just a bit harder to read when you zoom out a little bit because of the color. Now with the K, if I just go ahead and copy this again and choose the same color and everything, if I zoom out on the K, I can still see it. Not as great, but I can still see it. Over here, this K did not really have anything that I would say that is not normal. It was pretty normal. Logo design is about being unique and standing out, and I think they've done a great job. Of the designer, the type designer, the lettering artist did a great job in actually saying that it sticks out. And because they won't be seen on like drinks and any sort of like clothing items really, or even if it wasn't clothing items, you'd still see it. But you get my drift. Because it's only seen online and you see it like this, let's go to the Kickstarter website. So because you see it like this, it makes a lot more sense. The actual UI looks a lot nicer than it did before because you're only seeing it up here and you can still read it when it's that small. Granted, it is harder to read. Now that is the difference between, legible and good design. Is there a difference between the two here? We go down here to the bottom and I can definitely tell that's a K from the Kickstarter. Now if I squint my eyes a little bit, it's a bit more hard to see. It looks like a block because of like it just looks like a block when you have it really small. This is difficult because when I just searched it, you can see here that the icon for the old Kickstarter was the K and it looked okay, but I could not see that and think of Kickstarter before because it didn't have anything unique. It was just like the bubble writing with the K in it. And I mean, the only unique part of it was the sort of like the dark green and the light green on top of it. And that's what sort of stuck it out of the crowd. If we go into their Twitter and we see how they use it on social media, you can see here that I think the color looks a lot more professional and it also just works as well. It works really nice on here in the way that it's all round. It's all rounded. Now, a problem that I think Kickstarter had was that the design actually looked a bit too kiddish or a bit too not serious. But as Creative Block said in their actual article, they wanted to make it look a bit more professional because money is at play here, that there are actual companies out there earning millions or getting millions funded into their projects because of Kickstarter. So they wanted it to be a bit more trustworthy, but they also want it to be professional and not look kind of kiddish. So it's not as cringy when you go and ask for money on Kickstarter for things. I don't know. I like it. I think it works for what it is now. And I think a lot of people jump onto the bandwagon of like, don't fix what's not broken. And like, I preferred the other one. You can prefer the other one. But as a logo designer or designers and creatives, if you're in the field, it's okay not to like it, but it is not okay not to understand why they did it. And I can sort of get why they did it from my first opinion of it or my first looking at it. I've never talked to the designer of this, and if the designer's watching, I think it looks really cool. I think you've done a great job in making it actually consistent all the way throughout, so it's bearable to read. It's a lot easier for me to read when it's there, or when I go into the website or Twitter even. You can see here the colors work great. It's very simple. It looks good in black and white. But one thing I would add is that when you put this logo on a darker color and the background kind of messes you about a little bit with your mind. Let me explain. So here on these two artboards, I have got the logo design, and one's in like, the darker logo, and one is the lighter one on the dark background. Now, when it comes to typography or even just subtle shapes in dark or light backgrounds, your eyes change in accordance to the background that you're looking at. Now, I've been working on a logo that I can't show you for a company, and one of the things that I've noticed over the past few years of doing logo design is that it's important to either increase tracking or to create a variant of the logo if it's been seen on a dark background. If these logos are the exact same size, but one of them's dark and one of them's light on a dark background, it is easier for me to read this one because it stands out and my eyes are able to train it more than it is for me to read this one, because it kind of looks like the white space is merging in between the dark space. So it kind of looks like all the letters are much closer together. So when I zoom further out, it becomes even worse for my eyes to see. Now, I'm not too sure why this happens. It must be something to do with the way our brains perceive shapes in a light and dark background, but it's something to keep in mind. Now, if I was doing the Kickstarter logo and it was on a black background, I would increase the tracking of the letter forms or the tracking of the word. Let me show you. Now, this is an over exaggeration, but I've just increased basically the space in between each letter form. And when you read it from here, it looks a lot better because you can actually read it. It looks tons better than having this one on the top here, which is the first one, not as readable. Now, when it comes to logo design, it's important for it to be legible. And the only thing I would say about this logo, in fact, even though it's got no sort of like these counterbalances in the middle of the actual shapes, it's harder for you to read. I think it's still important to have a legible logo, and the only way to have this, I think, is to increase the tracking of the logo type on a dark background, so you create a variant of the logo when it's seen on a black background. But that is just my thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I just want to give a huge shout out to FreshBooks for sponsoring this video. Now, you may have heard of me talk about FreshBooks before, but if you haven't, FreshBooks is an online invoicing platform where you can record your expenses for your tax, and you can also send invoices to clients with absolute ease. I'm a designer, a logo designer, so I send a lot of invoices. I also send invoices for services that I get on YouTube, such as sponsorships, and I also get invoices and send invoices for different services that I provide other than logo design, kind of like hand lettering and stuff. And FreshBooks is literally hands down the easiest way I have found to send invoices and to collect money and to also put down my expenses. Some of the great things about FreshBooks is that you can charge late fees automatically. You send automatic reminders to clients the days before or the days after. You can even see if a client has viewed your invoice. In case they say they didn't catch it, you can tell them, no, I did see that you viewed it. If you'd like 30 days of FreshBooks for completely free, and that means risk-free, just to try out, then click the link down below and put the coupon code in, but also tell them how you heard about them through me. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Put your comments down below and I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon. Goodbye.